Welcome back, Gothamites. If you're new here, I'm London, aka History of the Batman. I am not at NYCC this year, for those who have asked me on Instagram and Twitter, obviously. Perhaps one year I'll plan a year in advance to go to the con. That'll probably be fun. I will, however, be attending Los Angeles Comic-Con, which is this month from the 26th through the 28th, and I will be doing some very fun things there, and I can give you those exact details maybe within a week or so. So look out for those announcements, but you should buy your tickets to go because I've always had a very fun time at LA Comic-Con or Comikaze or Stan Lee's Los Angeles Comic-Con. However you know of the con. Although I haven't been at NYCC, this past week has put me in a huge Halloween spirit right here in Southern California. Not only was I invited by my friends at Hot Topic to have this very scary / awesome behind the scenes look at Not Scary Farm. If you are interested in my adventures at Not Scary Farm, you should definitely head over to my Instagram, which is at History of the Batman, and on my profile under the tab events, I have my stories from that night, and just so you can check out some of the behind the scenes look at the makeup and the monsters and all of my fun that I had there. But also this past Wednesday night, I was invited by my family at Warner Brothers to attend their press preview night for Horror Made Here, a Festival of Frights, which is at their Warner Brothers Studio Tour Hollywood backlot in Burbank, California. And this event opened up to the public yesterday, October 5th. Now, if you want to know all of the Batman-related non-spooky things that you can check out at the WB Tour Hollywood, I have an entire review of that, which includes their Justice League exhibit and their Batcave and all of the props and awesome things you can experience there, and I will link that video in the description if you're interested. But this was not a normal time on the backlot. No, it was very spooky. It was a full-on carnival with many clowns. And this one right here, kept asking me if I wanted to go to the circus, and I was like, aren't we at the circus? But we became friends. I love this picture because it's me hunched over and laughing nervously. Hunched over and nervously laughing. That's like the title of my future autobiography. I just know it. There were tons of clowns on the backlot, but two obviously ran the show. And that was Pennywise, which is from Stephen King's It. And of course, our favorite clown, the Joker. It is no surprise that out of all of the mazes and attractions that are at Horror Made Here, a Festival of Frights, my favorite was the Escape from Arkham Asylum. I went through it twice. I absolutely loved it. And of course that was possible because we had these handy dandy badges. I don't know if you can see it, but we were able to go through all of the mazes and just like that. We didn't have to wait in line. So thank you, Warner Brothers, for this. It was kind of the same thing with Hot Topic and Not Scary Farm. We had the Fright Fast Lane passes, but we had these handy dandy things, and we got to go in the front of not just all of the mazes, but all of the rides too. And now I am officially spoiled and cannot go to any theme park without saying, but I could just go to the front. So this was a good experience, but also probably crippling in the rest of my theme park endeavors. But anyway, back to Arkham. It was our first maze of the night, and it is literally the first maze you walk into once you go through the Joker door. And there's the smoke, and then there's some clowns walking around. There's a clown on stilts. There's a stage that's blasting music, and it's just already really fun. Right outside of the Arkham Asylum gate and building is the Batmobile parked right there, and that already made me just absolutely love this place. We hopped in line, and 30 seconds later we were in the maze. So thank you, badge. premise for Escape from Arkham Asylum is that the Joker has sentenced you to an eternity of being an inmate at Arkham Asylum, and you have to find a way out of this madhouse. What is very cool is that this maze is modeled after the Batman Arkham video game franchise, in particular the first game of the franchise, which is Arkham Asylum. If you looked at that Batmobile, it looks just like the video game Batmobile. And because it's modeled after this, the villains or the inmates that you cross paths with through the maze, from Two-Face to Poison Ivy to Scarecrow, they all look like their respected counterparts within the video game, which I thought was pretty cool. If you are watching this but you aren't into mazes or haunted houses or any of this scary stuff, but you love Batman, I'd still recommend this maze for you because it actually wasn't really scary. There were very few jump scares, and sure, there was eerie music playing in the background, but mostly it was all focused on the details of the different cells and inmates. And maybe because I see these details all the time, because I read Batman and watch Batman and talk about Batman every day, that anything you throw at me with Batman probably won't actually scare me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I was much more interested in what the inmates were actually saying, the aesthetic of their whole environment and their cell, and how that lined up with their villainous persona, which I was so impressed. I'm not surprised that the Arkham maze looked the way it did, and it was a lot of fun because look where we are, we're at Warner Brothers, but it was very cool. And I had a few favorite parts of the maze. One was Harleen Quinzel. When you walk into the maze, you have to take your picture at the Arkham security, which was kind of fun. But you are met by Dr. Harleen Quinzel, and because I am such a nerd, literally when I saw her for the first time, I screamed. I was so excited. I was like, no way, this is perfect. I already love this place. I want to stay. She leads you to Joker, who gives you your sentence. You go into the elevator and then you don't see her again until the very end, where she is Harley Quinn. I loved the actor's accent and the dialogue, and it was just so Harley and so much fun. And another thing that I really liked is the neon rooms. You walk in, first of all, you go through this hallway and it's like crooked frames, but they're all neon, and you walk into this room and the walls are filled with neon signs that say love and hate, and there's like neon go-go dancers, and it's within the room where Two-Face is staying. It was very pop, even though it seemed like they were going for a more dark maze, so those splashes of color were really cool to me. Obviously, I love color. Oh, and right when you're exiting the maze, you hear Kevin Conroy's Batman, and he says something to the effect of, you don't have to go down this villainous path, you can turn your life around, which is what Batman usually tells to the villains in Gotham City because he really wants them to change. So it's very fitting. But of course, me being me, I heard it the second time, not the first time for some reason, and I was like, oh my god, it's Kevin Conroy, and I literally looked around as if he was right there talking, and I know that it was just a voiceover either from the video game itself or something he recorded, and that is just to showcase to you what life is like with me, just a public embarrassment. And then as you turn left, you see the bat signal, which is shining to your right on a wall. So it was very cool. And it's a very fun way to start off this night of frights. So for just Escape from Arkham Asylum alone, you should buy a ticket and go, because Batman, it was so cool. I don't think I've ever been through a horror maze that was based on Batman. It was a first for me, and of course I enjoyed it immensely. We did go, and when I say we, I mean my scare buddy, Skylar, my sister. I took her also to Not Scary Farm because she never experienced these haunted mazes and things like that, and it's her senior year of high school, and so I wanted her to experience Knott's and anything that I really go through this year because it's her last year and I don't know where she's going to college, and it might be far because she's brilliant and she might be going to an Ivy League on the East Coast and I won't see her, and so I need to spend as much time with her as possible. Okay, wishing is over. But hi Sky, you better be watching this, okay? I told you I have to do a video on this. We went through all of the rest of the mazes there. So there is the Conjuring Universe maze. The Conjuring Universe, it's horror films The Conjuring 2, Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, and The Nun, which which recently came out. This universe was created by James Wan, who I'm sure you're familiar with that name because he is directing the Aquaman film for the DCEU, which is coming out December 21st. So support the DCEU, you know, and go see it. This maze was... It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But you do get a little taste of Annabelle. The maze is kind of centered around Annabelle. You also get a little bit of taste of the nun. I mean, the worst room within the maze was Annabelle rocking in a chair. So I think dolls are super creepy. So that was an experience, you know? And then we went to the forbidden screening of The Exorcist. The screening was in a haunted church, which is a church on the back lot. It's not actually a church. It's a church made. It's like all the other houses and sets on the studio tour. And there were lots of movies that featured this church, even though The Exorcist was not one of them. So that's something. It's kind of a 4D experience watching this film, or 10 minutes of this film. So the entire church was freezing cold because it's cold in the movie. When a window blew open, the doors blew open. Like a cross falls off the wall, another cross fell off the wall. She even popped out of the screen. So that was something as well. Luckily we weren't right in her, you know, line, so we weren't just immediately scared, but there were nuns and priests lining the walls, so I think that kind of made my sister a little nervous, but it was all really fun. After that, we went to Nightmare on Camp Crystal Lake, I believe is what it's called, but it is a cross between you facing Jason and Freddy Krueger from Friday the 13th franchise and Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I liked this one because you actually get to hop on one of the trams in the Warner Bros. Studio tour. You have like 10 minutes of looking at certain parts of the studio lot that aren't scary. You're not in the carnival, but you're driving to literally the woods on the back lot, and it's been transformed into Camp Crystal Lake, and pretty much you have to make your way through the campsite without getting cut up by Jason or without getting killed by Freddy Krueger. But then once you escape the camp and the camp lodge and you escape the clutches of Jason and Freddy, you hop back onto a tram which leads you actually to the big gift shop at the end of the Warner Brothers studio tour. There is the Supergirl suit and the Arrow suit and the Flash suit from the CW shows, just in cases right there, and I thought that was pretty awesome. But you also get to see props from movies like It and even some Batman props if you walk through that gallery. So you get to see cool props as well if you don't just want to go through the mazes. And of course they have awesome Batman and DC Comics merch and t-shirts and Funkos, and you can just spend mad cash there. But once you leave the gift shop, for some reason when you turn left, you're right back in the carnival. But it seemed like we traveled for days to go to Camp Crystal Lake. So what sorcery? I don't know. I thought I was completely turned around, but apparently not. And then last, but certainly not least, we went through the It maze. And that was probably the scariest maze out of all of the attractions there. Probably the biggest reason is because Sky and I, since we had our badges, we were the very first ones of the group to go into the maze, so we got everything first. We weren't sandwiched with someone in front of us and someone behind us, so everything came at us, and so we just were hot messes. But we did befriend a couple that was behind us, and we decided we would all just stick together, and even though we turned a corner first, we would wait for them to turn that scary corner, and then we would all go through the maze together. And there was even one point where we got to a room and we didn't know what exit to take or where to go, and that was literally confusing and hilarious. And probably the worst room was the clown room. It was just wall-to-wall clowns, a shaking coffin, and then one actual real clown, which was my clown friend from earlier who asked me to go to the circus. So I wasn't afraid of him because we're friends now, you know? But everything else just was like clowns on the walls, clown dolls, just, it was rough. And then of course at the end, Pennywise is there, which scared the crap out of me because I wasn't expecting it. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, because you really don't see him throughout the maze. Like, you see him like once. He pops out, and that got us a little bit. So like, he got me twice. Pennywise is scary. I would take Joker over Pennywise any day. And if you wanted to go on a ride, there was a carnival ride. I think it's called the Devil's Drop, and it's like a mini Supreme Scream. You go up and then it drops you down. I don't really like those rides. I love roller coasters. I will go on pretty much anything, but something that just drops you, you have to really talk me into going on stuff like that. They had the Lost Boys arcade, they had themed cafes, they had another smaller gift shop that has really spooky stuff in there. Like, they have like Ouija glasses, and there was even a little Annabelle doll in a case, and at one point the the chair rocked but then didn't, and I really don't like that doll rocking in that chair. I've like mentioned it like 3 times. Clearly that is a trigger for me. I don't know. And the entire vibe of the carnival was so fun, even if clowns were invading it. And of course, when you exit through Pennywise, because you were introduced by a clown, and so you have to leave in courtesy of a clown, right? That's fitting. So overall, I loved Horror Made Here, a Festival of Frights. It's so fun. The mazes really weren't that bad in terms of scare. It was all really about the detail. If you love these films and Batman and the media, you would absolutely love these mazes. If you are in the SoCal area, or you will be throughout this month of October, I would definitely recommend you going to Horror Made Here, a Festival of Frights at the Warner Brothers Studio Tour Hollywood. And if you are traveling here and you just happen to be here in October, go on the day tour as well, the regular tour, where you can see all of the backlot that isn't scary, and you can see all of the awesome Batman things. And then at night, go to the spooky event. I will link in the description where you can get tickets for the regular tour and where you can get tickets for Horror Made Here, a Festival of Frights. If you can go, I definitely recommend it. Oh, a bonus. The shirt that I am wearing today, I actually wore when I went to the event. It's actually from my family at Warner Brothers, courtesy of the Warner Brothers shop and Shop DC Entertainment. They sent me 2 Batman the Animated Series t-shirts. This one has a silhouette animated Batman on it. I don't think I will be able to show you the back of the shirt effectively within this space, but I did take a picture of it and I'll put it here, and it says Batman the Animated Series, and it has the entire episode listing from the show, and it's like my favorite shirt. Warner Bros. Also sent me another shirt. I'll put a picture of it here. I wore it when I went to Knott's Berry Farm. It has a Batman silhouette on the front, and it just says Batman the Animated Series at the top, similar to this shirt. But what's really cool about that shirt is that the eyes glow in the dark, and I even had to try it out to make sure. I literally turned off the lights in the bathroom and I looked, and it literally was glowing in the dark. So if you live with someone and you wear this shirt and you walk around and they see something glowing, they may not like you, but it is so cool, and how Batman of his eyes to glow. Thank you, Warner Brothers, for sending me these shirts just in time to get into the vibe of getting the Batman the Animated Series collection on Blu-ray, which I'm so excited for. The set looks amazing. If you liked this shirt that I'm wearing now or the other shirt, I will link where you can get those shirts from Warner Brothers in the description below. So thank you so much, Warner Brothers, for the t-shirts and for inviting me to the press preview night for Horror Made Here, a Festival of Frights. I love all of it. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be a part of the Warner Brothers and DC Comics family. I'm sorry, this seems like a huge promotional thing, and it's been a good week. Hot Topic not only sent me to Not Scary Farm, it also got me this really cool watch, which that's the band. It is a Wonder Woman smartwatch. Here, oh, there it is. Yeah, see? So dope. So dope. It's by 161 Studio, and it is literally like an Apple Watch, but for an Amazonian warrior. You can sync it with your phone and you can get calls, which I just learned like yesterday when my phone rang and my watch told me my phone was ringing and it played the Wonder Woman theme song, and you don't know how hard I fangirled at that moment because I didn't know that it did that, and I was so surprised and so happy. And I don't wear watches because I have a phone, so I always figure, why do I need a watch? I just have never been a watch person even before I had a smartphone. From answering calls or setting alarms or putting notes in your calendar to even checking how many steps you take in a day and your heart rate, which I think the steps thing is pretty cool. You can put all your personal information in it. And I'm sure if you have an Apple Watch or a watch that does this, you're like, oh, duh, that exists. But does it exist with Wonder Woman on it? Does it? Because I don't think so. I'm pretty sure this is the first Wonder Woman smartwatch that is all Wonder Woman centric. It is not the same. It's so cool and such nice quality, and I love it. And thank you so much, Hot Topic, for sending it. I did a whole unboxing IG story on my Instagram, so if you want to see more about the detail of that, follow me on Instagram at History of the Batman. And I posted it across on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and all of that is linked to the description, so give it a follow if you want to see more pictures of the watch and more details about the watch. And of course, I will link in the description below where you can pre-order the Wonder Woman smartwatch. Thank you to both Hot Topic and Warner Brothers for making this week so fun and sending me to the Halloween events and sending me the merchandise. I love being a part of this community and a part of your family, so thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching my review of my experience at the press preview night at Warner Brothers Horror Made Here, a Festival of Frights at the Warner Brothers Studio Tour Hollywood backlot. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a bat thumbs up. I hope you guys can attend and go and see this Festival of Frights. It's really fun. It's a little scary, but I love all of the movie magic that's right on that backlot and the clowns. I mean, honestly, if you do have a really horrible phobia of clowns and you can't deal, don't go, just because I care about you and I don't want you to pass out. But if you're fine with clowns and you're fine with the other stuff, please go. It is a blast. As always, my social media is in the description, along with a lot of other things. And check out my comic reviews for Comicosity. And of course, please subscribe to this channel. We will have more Batman media and reviews and 1-minute histories and all of that good stuff in the upcoming weeks. And it would be so cool if you guys would become a part of this wonderful Gothamite community. Thank you so much for watching, and we will have more History of the Batman soon right here on YouTube. Remember, Gothamites, it's all about peace, love, and Batman. Oh, my phone buzzed. See, I got a text message on my phone. Ow. But, oh, I love this thing. Okay, bye.